Hello and welcome YouTube and Ground community. Today I want to show you not necessarily my latest build. This is actually a build that I started playing in Season 2, right? This was my Season 2 League starter even. This is a Vire Smite Skater Shieldbreaker. Now, most of you probably know Vire Smite Skaters already. It is a very popular archetype in the game, right? And especially people play this as a Templar usually, right? Mr. Remede has an awesome guide on the forum for mostly Templars, but also Shieldbreakers. And if you, want to have like a proper written guide for a character like this, then I do 100% recommend you to check out his guide in the forums. Now, apart from his version and my version, there are many ways you can make a Vire Smite Skater work. And while generally I would say that Mr. Remede has probably found the optimal way to play a build like this, I do want to show you my a little bit more focus on health gen version here as well, because I did invest like quite some time into this character and I did have like proper success with this one in the community season 2, where I used this one to basically like build my account, right, farm all kinds of like easier content, then also do all the dungeons, right. I killed Mogdrogen and Ravager as well on this build, and also I cleared like some decent SR shards, nothing too crazy, but like it's like strong enough and like the shards were high enough to like basically farm all the items in the game if you want to. I'm 100% sure you can also kill Callagrada on this version, if you just like, kite around Callagrada well enough, right? If you just like run around certain circles, making her stand on the fire trails, you will die eventually. It should be no problem to kill Callagrada on a build like this. And when it comes to creative entertainment, right, basically the hardest or like cheesiest boss in the game, then I'm not sure if my version would have enough damage because it's a little bit too much focus on health gen maybe for that build. But I know that some variations of this build can kill crate, but in general I would say that a build like this is maybe not the best crate killer archetype in the game. Alright, so let's check out the skill point allocation for the version that I'm currently playing right now. This is, as I said earlier, like one of many variations you can do here even for this Shieldbreaker, and in this case I have 21 points to Flame Touched, 9 points to Temper, that's just a 1-pointer, 14 points to Blast Shield, right, soft cap for Backdoor Cocktail, only 1 point to Demon Fire because we do not need any like damage reduction on 3 actually, like both this as well as this Unzin's Wrath is just there as a 1-pointer to like reduce enemy damage whenever they are not hit by Light of Imperial and Devotion yet. We're gonna check that out in a second. And then we have 70 points to Agonizing Flames for 30 flat resistance reduction. Then also we have 12 out of 12 points of Flashbang for 250 like the Age Red on enemies, giving you basically effectively 250 higher offensive ability. 2 points in Searing Light give me 6 points here for 29% fumble and impaired aim. Pretty nice defensive way as well, like defensive stat as well. Then we have 20 points of Thermite Mine to like get that highest amount of like resistance shred that you can get from this one. You want at least 13 points here. Getting the last 7 points is kind of not top priority, but if you want like more damage for the very late game, then this is the way to go, right? 22 points of Vindictive Flame, actually like max this out as well, and like 1 point to Ozin's Wrath. Now the reason why I'm maxing this out is because this is the, health regen focused, or like, not like super health regen focused version, but it's like more focused on health regen than like the standard kind of Vire Smite character that I otherwise know. Keep in mind that if you, for example, have the mythical Cinderscorn axe instead, and then like a Goddess Ring would be better than these anyway, but it's like so hard to get like good affixes on Goddess Rings, honestly. Then you could like get to 76 points here easily, and then your health regen, like your overall base health regen would be a lot higher. So you can pump this up even more if you want to like focus more on health regen even. Now in the Oathkeeper tree I have obviously 1 point to Vire Smite, actually only 1 point because again this is kind of the health regen version. If you're playing the lifesteal version, then you should put at least I think 16 points here to get like some decent main hand damage, to get some like decent lifesteal here. Probably even like max this out completely to the max. I think that's like what you do, right? You max this out to the max if you play lifesteal. You do get a little bit more damage then, and also you do need this to be maxed out because you cannot lifesteal from the burn damage from Volcanic Stride or the flat fire damage of Volcanic Stride either. So yeah, because this version basically cannot properly lifesteal, that's also why I need the health regen. So it's kind of like a trade-off, right? You depending like how you like to play as well. I personally think that like for hardcore, Heretic is a lot better than people think, and compared to softcore as well, it's better than like on softcore. On softcore, you can just like keep on attacking like all the time, right? You can like take that risk because like if you die like 1 out of 20 times taking a risk, right, it's still fine on softcore. If you die 1 out of 20 times like taking a risk on hardcore, your character is just dead and gone, right? So you can't really like take that risk, and like if you stop taking those 20 risks and run away instead, then Heretic is a lot better to like keep your character alive while running away, right? So that's why I think that like in general, Heretic is on average a little bit better in hardcore than in softcore. And on a build like this, you can, as I said, like make both Heretic and lifesteal work. And yeah, I kind of wanted to just like play Heretic more because I haven't seen many people try it on a build like this. But yeah, 22 points volcanic strike. Obviously, this is our main damage, right? This is the main damage of the build, so you need to max it out ASAP also while leveling. And then 12 points of tectonic shift to have like -1 point second recharge here. You can put this to, I believe, 15, right? Like every 3 points after 12 would give you 0.1 CDR. However, I don't really have enough like bonuses to this, so I can't even put it this high. I think I can only like put it to 14 right now, so yeah, like the points after 12 would be useless. That's why this is sitting at 12 out of 12 points. 1 point to Guardian, 13 points to the Aura. Of course, this is like our Aura resistance reduction bot, basically like 2 of these, right, reducing enemy resistances. 2 of them, like 2 of their auras don't stack though, so like you only get this 26% fire resistance reduction once. Still very good, very good. You need to max this out like 100%. Divine Mandate, 15 out of 12 points as well. Exclusive skill, right, gives you a big damage boost, so you want to max this out basically. 13 out of 12 points of Presence of Virtue. Now you want at least 12 points here for the OA. I put 13 points because my OA is kind of bad actually right now with the setup that I have. I mean, I do have Flashbang giving me like 250% more effective OA, and then like Ascension on top, and like when I crit rather, I have another 55 DA shred on Seal of Annihilation. So overall I do get to like around 3100 away, which is fine, but it's like, yeah, like it could be better, right? It could still be a little bit better. So yeah, that's why I have the 13th point here as well, even though it's like a little bit less value than the points leading up to 12 points. But yeah, Haven. Very good to have at least 5 out of 10 points here, right? If your point star for some reason, keep it at 5 points. The last 3 points here are literally the last 3 points that I allocated in this entire build. Because 3 points here give me roughly 600 HP, so it's like 200 HP per point. So up to 10 points, this is still, I would say, worth it to take, but not mandatory. 1 point to Rebuke, well, just a 1 point to like have some reflect damage reduction, I guess. You don't even need this at all, kind of. It's okay. It's okay. 1 point to Resilience, right? Either 2 points or 5 points is good here. Like either just a 1 pointer here or 5 points. Like putting up to 5 points here is good. You could like, for example, pull the 3 points from Haven, like put them to Resilience. That is good as well to like get more Physical and defensive ability whenever this procs. Which one is actually better? I'm not even sure, to be honest. Like getting this to 5 while having this at 5, or having this at 2 while having this at 8, like both can be good here, honestly. Ascension, since I don't really have like any like proper plus skills to Ascension or Oathkeeper tree in general, right? It's only like +1 all skills from this one weapon here, right? The Grim Fate. It's kind of hard to like justify putting more than 1 point here. I mean, while leveling, Ascension's flat absorption is really good, and also like for endgame it's generally pretty good as well, until you like meet the very hardest endgame content, and then it's kind of not that amazing anymore. And like the percent all damage is also like okay, right? It's not as important as for Retaliation to max this out when it comes to damage. And then, yeah, so in the end, like you kind of just like 1 point this and this to get like the 5% away whenever this is up, right? So you just like use this for, well, some CC resistances, life leech resistance, and like 5% away during this uptime. Yeah, it's okay, but like not that amazing. You could, of course, like try to max this out if you had like more points, but I was honestly kind of point starved. So, I mean, you could like, for example, put Blast Shield down to 10 points instead of 14. That is a possibility as well. Like you would get 4 points back here, for example. But other than that, you can't really like pull points anywhere unless you get rid of the Health Regen and Wake the Flame, but you kind of want that, right? Anyway, let's move on to the devotions. So for devotions, right, a big tier 3 devotion that I'm working on here, because I play around health gen, and I also want to have the, well, lazy damage reduction available to me all the time, right? Demolitionist does have damage reduction in Demon Fire and Udzin's Wrath, but this one is like very unreliable against single targets. Like it basically doesn't work against like single targets. Like for example, if you're fighting Ravager, this basically doesn't work. And this one would be reliable, but also it needs kind of like a lot of points to, like you need lots of points to put here, and also you need to like have the enemy stand inside Blackwood Cocktail all the time, and you kind of want that anyway because of Agonizing Flames. But honestly, this is just like way lazier to just like use Light of Empyrean, right? And this fits well together with Tree of Life because like both need yellow and blue, right? So if you go health regen and you go like hard in health regen and like also play Tree of Life, then these two work very well together. I would say if you go for a more damage oriented devotion page, right? Like if you go for Torch and stuff like that, you don't play health regen at all on a build like this. Then if you are a Demolitionist, then I would say try to max out Demon Fire, or at least put it to I think like 13 or 14 points, like the sweet spot. And then you have your damage reduction on Demon Fire, right? And then you do have to make sure that enemies stay inside your cocktail though. But you have the debuff there. In my case, I have it here, so I don't really have to like worry about enemies standing inside my cocktail too much, apart from the resistance reduction, right? But yeah, so we use Light of Empyrean, right? Because it goes well with the Tree of Life. We use the Tree of Life for health regen, and then we have a couple of filler devotions here like Stag, Panther, Satyr's Guide. I mean, Viper is actually not only filler, it's also OA and like elemental resistance shred as well. But yeah, all of these are there to like help me reach these tier 3s. And then also, of course, like on any fire build, you need to have the Eldritch Fire. This is a must-have. 23 resistance reduction, stacking with all other types of resistance reduction in the game. So you need like 6 green and 4 red at least as well. For the green, I think we're using Behemoth. I mean, of course, if you are playing health regen, you always want Behemoth as well. So there's the Behemoth, right? We have the Harvestman's Scythe as well, because it is a very, very, very good devotion as well for health regen. And also it does have like some decent stats to roll as well, it's not too bad. And yep, then we also have the Dryad, right, for additional healing. On top of health regen, like a little bit of additional healing here in Dryad. And also because, well, like it fits the yellow affinity that we need for Light of Empyrean. And then very last, but certainly not least, is the Eighth of Fire Imp devotion, right? This one is a tier 1 devotion only. However, on a Vire's Might build, right, it is actually as strong as like a tier 3, to be honest, or like a tier 2 at least. Because this one has no cooldown, right? So every single tick of every single fire trail that you produce when you're like Vire's Mighting, right, from the Volcanic Stride, will proc this, or like will have a 51% chance to proc this. So you can like stack this fire like ridiculously fast, and like you will have a ridiculous amount of these fires as well, which each stack, right, they last for 3 seconds. So like during those 3 seconds you can have like lots of those stacking up, right? I mean, assuming Vire's Might ticks once every second, you can have like a 51% chance to tick, right? For this you have like 1.5 fires per trail, but you have like multiple trails, right? You have like, what is this cooldown here? 0.5 seconds cooldown here, right? And every time you produce a trail, like lasting for 4 seconds, so you can have basically, I don't know, like 8 trails, right? 8 volcanic strides, roughly 7 to 8 trails up all the time. Each one ticking once, so you have like 4 fires per second generated here. Each one lasts 3 seconds, so you will have like 12 of these basically stacking up, right? Like max damage would be you have 8 trails at the same time, and 12 of these Eighth of Fires on top of each other, or something like that, unless my mouth is like vastly wrong here. This is just like quick math, it could be like very much scuffed, but I think it's something like that. And I mean, you also see that this deals fire and aether damage, right, by default. So you want aether to fire conversion. That's where the gear now comes into place, right? Let's talk about the gear here. That's why you always want a change of orders on a build like this, right? This one converts aether to fire damage, helping you especially with the Aether damage on the, well, Aether Fire from the Imp Devotion, right? If you can get additional Aether to Fire conversion, like for example on Vanquish's Mantle over here, and Vanquish's Armor over here, you basically get 100% Aether to Fire conversion, and then you have like a pure Aether Fire, dealing damage of like all the Volcanic Strides on top, right? Pretty nice, pretty nice. So also you can say, I'm only using 2-piece Vanquisher, not even 4-piece, right? Like what the hell is this? This is just to like showcase that you don't always need 4-piece Vanquisher when you play a Skater. And honestly on a Shieldbreaker, I think it's even better to not play 4-piece Vanquisher. 4-piece Vanquisher is really, really awesome on Templar. And it is also generally very good if you play more around the health, like lifesteal version, I would say. If you play more around like Volcanic Stride, I think, especially on the Shieldbreaker, it's actually better to use the Skybreaker Circlet. And then also the Shard of Eternal Flame. Especially the Shard of Eternal Flame is insanely good for a Shieldbreaker, right? It has like another +1 all skills to Demolitionist, etc, etc. So really, really nice. Also like this one and this one, they both have like plus skills to Volcanic Stride, right? The very much most important skill of this line. And you can also get affixes on top of the screen if you are as lucky as I am, and you get, for example, an Overseer's Prefix, which has like, I don't know, it's just insane. It has like some physical resistance, I think, and then like also, was it like also more armor? Yeah, like armor absorption actually, right? So like the armor absorption here makes me able to not worry about like armor absorption components that much, right? I only need one Sacred Plating here, and then like the Sacred Plating together with the Overseer's Prefix already fix all of my armor absorption, even though I'm not even a soldier, right? Which means I have like freedom to put whatever I want to in my pants, my chest, my headpiece, right? Like, you have so much more freedom if you get a Overseer's Prefix here. Off attack suffix, of course, is also very, very good. I was like super lucky in the league getting this one. I didn't even like farm that much for this, but you can target farm this. It's gonna be probably not that easy for you to get this one as well, but you can get it. And if you don't get it, if you don't get Overseer's Prefix, just make sure to use components, like more of these components like Sacred Plating that give you rather armor absorption on your like pants, chest and helmet, and then you will also like reach 100% armor absorption anyway. In the end though, like the armor is not even that important for a build like this, right? As you can see, like my main defense is physical resistance and not the armor, right? 52 physical resistance here. 2000 armor is rather low. Another way to like mitigate physical damage is physical resistance, and it's on average I would say even stronger than armor anyway. So how do we get to that high phys res as well? Well, we have 7% physical resistance on Hellforged leg plates, right? This is what I'm using for the pants here. Then we have Golden Bone Greaves, giving me another 5% phys res and also increased armor and HP and movement speed, etc. Right? These are very, very, very defensive boots, and if you're not playing hardcore, then you can certainly use different boots as well. You don't have to use exactly these boots if you're playing softcore. For gloves, I'm using Cinder Touch. These are just there because they give you insane offensive ability. Also +2 to the flame, giving you like more health regen, right? And they also have these like nice fire tornadoes, right? Pretty nice, pretty nice. But mostly they are there for the offensive ability, I would say. Well, the 2-piece Vanquisher Mantle, Vanquisher set actually also has physical resistance on the shoulder, right? 5% physical resistance roll here on the shoulders. Really, really good as well to like, well, stack up that phys res. And also on the chest, 5% roll on the armor, right? You kind of want like the max physical resistance roll on like all of these items to, well, like get high physical resistance numbers. This really does make a big difference when it comes to fighting enemies that have like lots of physical damage, like for example Ravager or like some of the bosses in the Shadow Realm as well. Now let's talk also about the rings, right? I have 2 living rings. Well, living rings are good because they can make you very tanky very easily. You can target farm these in the Ancient Grove dungeon at the vendor, right? You can like vendor reset the vendor if you want to as well. And I got an aggressive of the Drangul here, right? Giving you like lots of away and some DA and like increased armor, elemental damage and health is like part of the ring itself, right? And like vitality resistance also like an implicit of the ring itself. So, and this one is a Mighty of the Gilded Arcanum. Honestly, this one could be swapped out for something else. Gilded Arcanum has the like chance to reset your cooldown in a way, but like my cooldown of Vire Smite is so low anyway, like I don't really need this anymore. It's kind of useless now. This was a little bit more useful when I was not using the Shard of Eternal Flame in the league, right? In the league to, for example, kill Ravager, I was using the Azrak's amulet. The Azrak's amulet gives you like a very good defensive proc, very similar to the Mark of Divinity proc, which I'm using now here. And but I lost that one because I rather have Shard of Eternal Flame, and Shard of Eternal Flame, especially because it has a CDR2 Vire Smite, and once you have that, then the Gunnar Convent suffix becomes kind of useless. So this could be something entirely different, like for example also a legendary combustion ring, which gives you more fire resistance reduction on enemies. I mean, as you just saw, I'm using the Mark of Divinity, right? This is my medal. Pretty nice medal overall, very good for hardcore especially, right? As long as you have like a big HP pool, this is pretty much reliable, right? As long as you make sure that the enemies like don't just like one hit you, right? Then this is a pretty nice life-saving medal for sure. For the relic, I'm using the Korvax Deception. Korvax Deception is used here mostly actually because of OA and DA problems that my character has if I don't use this. As you can see, the OA is kind of low, like the 2% OA is a bad roll. Ideally you want like a 4% OA roll here, because yeah, OA is the problem, DA is not really the problem. I also rolled completion bonuses with +1 to Temper and Agonizing Flames. Those are actually really good though. If you don't get them, then it doesn't really matter that much either though, it's not like that important. The skill itself, the Blazing Eruption, is not going to be used here at all, because you don't want to like use anything but Vire Smite, to be honest. When you have to use Flashbang, this and this, because you're a Demolitionist, but other than that you just want to like skate around, right? Now for the weapon you can use like so many different things, right? You can use Grim Fate like I do right now. It's okay on a Shieldbreaker, I would say, because you have like +1 to all the skills, right? Like Demolitionist and Oathkeeper. You have also more radius to Thermite Mine, more damage to Thermite Mine, making it easier for you to apply the resistance threat from the Thermite Mines on enemies, right? If they like move around a bit. The Thermite Mines still have like a little bit higher radius of effect, so it is easier for them to apply the resistance reduction. You can also use Mythical Cinder Scorn, right? Mythical Cinder Scorn is pretty nice because it does give you also more bonuses to Vindictive Flame, because Vindictive Flame is what we use for health regen. You could also use a Bloodlord's Blade. Bloodlord's Blade gives you, I believe, higher, like way higher uptime to Ascension. So with a Bloodlord's Blade you could max out your Ascension and play around Ascension a little bit more. So yeah, in the end there are many different weapons you can use here. Grim Fate is one of them. That's the one I'm using right here. Now for the offhand, this is a mandatory and this is build defining. I should have like talked about this in the first place, not at the end, right? This is a Zarathuzalan's Archive. This is the build defining item. This one converts physical fire to Vire Smite, which honestly doesn't really matter that much because it's only affecting this part and not this part. And this part doesn't have any physical damage anyway, so like all the conversion to Vire Smite doesn't really matter that much unless you like max out the Vire Smite skill itself. But more importantly here is the prefix, honestly. Like you want to get a Destroyers or a Sandstorm prefix, right? Or maybe even like a Thunderstruck, but that's gonna be hard to get. And Destroyers is like the best one anyway, right? Destroyers gives you fire damage and also physical resistance, right? You want physical resistance on your offhand here, and there are only a couple of prefixes that give you that. For example, the Destroyers prefix. And Destroyers prefix is like 100% best in slot here for the prefix. For the suffix, of Scorching is a magic one that gives you just fire damage, so that's probably the best magic damage one that you can get, right? The best magic affix that you can get. There are of course like better rare suffixes, but like getting a triple rare of this is very hard, and it's basically like a chase item, so good luck with that. I would say when it comes to the combination of like a rare prefix and a magic suffix, which is like, well, the realistic items, realistic monster frequencies that you can get with like not too much of a time investment here, then I would say this is like the best in slot combination of pre and suffixes here. So yo, in the end, when it comes to build defining items, right, what you 100% always need to even like play this build is Skybreaker Circlet, right, to reduce cooldown of Vire Smite, Zarathuzalan's Archive to reduce cooldown of Vire Smite. These two are super easy to get. Like, maybe not these affixes are super easy to get, but like the items themselves are super easy to get. You can also like start leveling with this very easily. And then all the other items on top are, in my opinion, very strong and probably best in slot for the way how I intended to play this character. Well, a Goddess Ring would be better, right? But other than that, these items are basically like best in slot. And you can be very, very flexible with your gear here as well, right? You could go to 4-piece Vanquisher if you don't have this strong helmet yet. You could play like Azrakar's Amulet instead of the Shard of Eternal Flame if you want rather more defense instead of more CDR to Vire Smite. But to like zoom around properly, right, you want these 3 items, 0.5 seconds here, 0.5 seconds here, 0.6 seconds here, and then another 1.2 seconds here, giving you a total of 2.8 second cooldown reduction to Vire Smite, and you have some like global CDR on top, maybe, and then you get to 0.6 seconds cooldown to Vire Smite, which is why you can zoom around like this if you don't get stuck clicking on some bridges, right? And yeah, that's pretty quick. That's very, very good for basically like farming all of the like dungeons, farming materials, right? Just running through whatever you want to. I would say this build is, because of that, or like this archetype is, because of that, certainly one of the strongest. Some people say it's like the strongest archetype in the game, especially Mike Fix says that all the time, right? I mean, he's not wrong, right? When it comes to like what you want to do in this game on average, then this is probably the strongest build, because like this build can just do everything. You can literally do everything, right? Alright, let me just show you a quick dummy kill time here as well. And then I'm gonna just play all the clips from the gameplay, right, that I have from the league, and also from after the league. So yeah, enjoy. So yeah, the dummy kill time is 25 to 30 seconds, which isn't technically that amazing, but remember this is more like a hardcore variant of the build, so it is a little bit tankier than other versions, and also a build like this can always just like run around in circles until enemies die, right? It does never have to phase tank anything. I have here Zephrys and Torot. Actually Zephrys won't go. I like that they are like stacking. It's very like kind of them. Can you die, please? Okay. What? I don't even have this on my main, dude. Didn't want him to proc my Velocity, but he still did. That's essential. It's kind of taking quite some time to kill him, but it's still like a safe kill, I feel like. It doesn't really like hurt me that much. Okay. I guess we're done with this dungeon then. Are these like random Chthonians still here? What the fuck? That was a pretty spicy bloodshed, not gonna lie. my god, there's so many of them, what the fuck? This might be bad actually. This might be like really bad actually. Oh, maybe not. They all died. Like the damage on the spell is not bad at all, right? Actually decent. It's just like the bubbles of these guys that like keep them alive for way longer than they should be alive, right? And this last guy has like a blade barrier as well, right? Alright. You have gained a super boss token. There we go, there we go. That might be the wrong choice here, to be honest. Why did Ascension while I have Bounce Shield? Pega did. Super Pega. Okay, I'm just missing the mantle now. Don't forget XP pot rank, very important. What was Stellaris? Oh my god, my Stellaris is bad. Lag? Lag? Dude, the stunts are... It wasn't lagging like this. It wasn't lagging like this, huh? Cheats on, yep. Dude, Mogdrogen's stunts are cancer for the spell attack. It's like so bad. So why is he moving? Stop moving. Like I legit can't slide through him when he like stuns me all the time. Like, what is this? I think I'm close to half HP. Hello? Dude, das ist so mega annoying. Like ridiculously annoying. Like what? Oh, what the heck, dude. I didn't think this would be like that bad with the stun. What does this, dude? Stop it. It's gonna be like a 10-minute cut or something. It's not gonna be fast at all. Is he going Half-Life? Almost. I mean, I should like check display monster health values, right? It's gonna show from all the trash mobs as well. That's yikes. But, I mean, oh my god, the lag, dude. What is this? Camera turning back to the... It's insane. Dude. Why can't they... stand in one spot, please? I like not standing like that. The Light of Imperium also like hits his minions, like not him, right? Like everything feels super unreliable against him. Except for the health jump, I guess. And like obviously Blast Shield is like carrying this build hard. Also like we deal not that much, like 14k for like 5 minutes already. It's like he doesn't stand on the fire. Yeah, I don't know. In my droid, I mean not droid, but like my what's it called? Tree of Life is like low levels though. Dude, this is like a 20-minute cut or something. Damage is pretty fucking bad on this right now. Pots are running out already. Holy shit. Ready? Alright. And yeah, basically like not critting him at all, like never. It's like also like one of the reasons why it does take so long. Why they do no damage, kind of. 7k, I mean it's like half of his... I mean more than half of his second stage at least. 7 million, not 7k. It's more like a war of attrition here. Anything else? Check crit chance at the end. 0% of course. What did you expect? I have like 80% chance to hit him. You mean the Mogdrogen? I mean, the Mogdrogen was like... When I fought Mogdrogen, he wasn't even like finished yet. When I fought Ravager, he was kind of finished, and I think if I was to kill Mogdrogen again... I mean, you can't, but if I was to kill him again on the breaker, then it would have been like way quicker than on the first one. Alright, 69 years later, holy shit. He's gonna die at some point. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Actually, it's already tomorrow for me, so I guess like this this fight took like an entire day for me. Not really, but... $700k, 600k. He's gonna die today. 400. 300, 200, 100, and he's dead. Okay, that was what, like a half an hour ago? It is a Ravager! It is a Ravager!
The stench of rotting. Yes, these should satisfy Ravager's hunger. It is Ravager. I do not know what I had done to scorn the Great One, but here on the massive who shall serve? He is brash and...
Yeah, let's get Tuvald. Tuvald is Ravager of Flesh. Oh, they give you one of those. Interesting. Alright, should I fight him with all the people around? Like, show them what their god is like? Alright, let's go. Probably gonna block me or something, right? He has the eye up, and he does like extra damage. It is down. I did no damage though. Eyes up. It should be hard with the eye up. Maybe not. It's up. See the pot. Alright, the scariest part is like second stage when he has the eye up, right? It's like the scariest part. Also when I get stuck. Alright, approaching second stage. Like right now. There's a blast shield and resilience. They're both down now. The eye is up. I could like bridge the gap with something here. Yeah, I didn't. So my divinity actually procced. He's gonna proc blast now again. Yep. Not only that. Okay, once he has his eye up again, I need to like kite, I think. But he only procced my Divine Light, right? He didn't proc my other cast, did he? I don't think so. Proc blast shield again. Oh my god, stop talking to me. That's what I said, like these guys are annoying, right, with the blocks. Need like mix click on the guys. Eyes up. Let's just kite around a bit. Eyes down. Oh my god, what was that hit? Alright, let's go back here. Go back into your fire tray, Ravager. It'd be nice. Eyes up again. Yeah, like his eye debuff basically is could kill me if I didn't have like circuit breakers up. It's up again, but I have like blast shield up, right? So like it shouldn't be any problem whatsoever here. And I should be taking less damage if I had Light of Empyrean like actually maxed out, right? Alright, there we go. Honestly, I feel like Ravager is probably like the easiest super boss to like outplay. Because like, yeah, it doesn't do not that much, just like run around 10 out of 15 here, right? Only 19% instead of 24% damage reduction on this one. This one also not maxed out yet. Dry, the same thing here, right? Alright, there we go. So you can also kill Callagrada with this build. I fucked up the start like hard, right? The start was super fucked with like the like the hounds and like Viper's healing Kala again. So it should be better than, I don't know, what was this, like a 8-minute kill, maybe 9-minute kill, something like that, right? If you like subtract the first couple of minutes that I spent attacking her before she got healed up again, right? I mean, in the end, it's not like a great color kill compared to, say, something like Avenger Water, of course. This is pretty, like, monk-ass, right? Like, not the best color killer, but like, considering this build can like do all the other things very quickly as well, I think it's fine, right? It's a fun kill. Anyway, thanks so much everyone for watching, and I'll see you around on the next video. Take care and have fun with this build.